All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started here. And I wanted to start off by like laughing at the fact that apparently I started two different live streams that just in case Arkansas actually ended up winning, and if they ended up losing, and for some reason the one that got scheduled was the one if Arkansas ended up winning. So like people who saw that is like Arkansas wins. It's like, oh crap, no, hopefully that didn't happen. But it did. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this, folks. Because I wanted to do this though, just because I was actually at home, and I have found that in the past two times that Arkansas has gone to Tuscaloosa, I've watched the game at home alone, and it was like close for whatever reason. I thought that would maybe bring some good luck, and it did for as far as being close. But let's just dive into it. Let's get over the pomp and circumstance. But I'll just make this pretty short. We'll get some of your comments too. I don't know. Maybe this will replace what the Razorback devotional will be tomorrow. Or maybe I'll still do one. We'll see. But Arkansas loses. Arkansas loses once again by a final score of 24-21 to Alabama. They were down as much as 24-6. And it just, at that point in time, it looked like it was all over. Looked like it was all over. Looked like that was the case of just another run of the mill great failure, great disappointment by Arkansas. But at the end of the day, and Arkansas going into the second half, at least they scored 15 points unanswered, made it a game, but it wasn't enough. And this is now, after everything that's happened with Arkansas and after everything that's gone down for the sake of this Razorback team and the what's going on this season, you're 2-5, and now you have 4 losses by 1 score. You lost to BYU by a touchdown. You lost to LSU by a field goal. You lost to losing to Ole Miss by a touchdown, and now you lost to Alabama by a field goal. So here's the thing. I'm going to start with this, and I'm going to make this very clear from the beginning because I know a lot of you are going to be like kind of talking about other things too that maybe you have problems with. And again, we'll get to your comments. There's no moral victories. Let me get that out of the way. I'm not happy. I'm not happy with the season. I'm not happy with the performance in this game for the most part. You still lost. You're still 2-5. You're still who you are. It's not good. It's not great. There's no redeeming quality. There's just nothing that I can point to try to make you say, okay, well, everything's fine. This performance, this loss, this close loss erases all that's what happened before, because that's not the case. You are who you are. You're 2-5, and all of that. But I will make the argument, and I'm sure I'll get ripped for this, and that's fine. I will make the argument that this team, in the way that they fight, is something I appreciate. It's not something that is going to lead to games being won all the time. I understand that. But I appreciate the fight, because you know how easy it is in college football to just lay down and die after you lose 4 straight games, especially close games. Fans are ripping you. Fans are ripping the coaching staff. Everyone's laughing at you. You're a joke in some people's minds. You're going on the road in these games. Like, none of these games are at home. You're going on the road. Like, all of that. I think it's so easy, and we could probably see it in a lot of cases in college football at other teams where those teams would just lay down and die. But Arkansas hasn't. The players have not. The coaches have not. So as much as it is frustrating and annoying to lose these games, which it is, 100%, I just at least want to show my appreciation for that part. I appreciate this team never giving up and keep fighting. Again, if you disagree, if you don't care, that's fine. But I appreciate that. But that being said, as close as this game was, as admirable as it was coming back and everything, it was a frustrating game to watch in a lot of cases, because once again, the offense is just, it's a mess, man. It's a mess. It had some plays late, but I think a lot of that had to do with KJ Jefferson being KJ Jefferson. Even when they scored the touchdown with Isaiah Satania, God, he could be on the offense. Even when they scored that, it just seemed like it was still an ugly play. It seemed like it was broken. But it frustrated me, where I think Arkansas had, 4 straight punts, 3 and outs maybe. Let's see. I'm going to look at the drive chart here for Arkansas. So Arkansas they started off with a punt, and then they had back-to-back field goals, which, how about Cam Little, man? That guy, automatic. I just wish Arkansas could put him in a position to where he could hit a field goal to win the game or send it to overtime or something, and maybe it had gotten close. But, Arkansas had 2 field goals after their first 3 and out, and then they had a 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. The half ended 3 and out, 3 and out. That ain't it. That ain't it. I appreciate them at least getting it put together there for some touchdowns late in the game, but that ain't it. I felt like the offense was at many times so lackadaisical. I thought it was very boring. I thought it was very not innovative, not creative. I thought that the run, pass, punt thing that they kept doing was terrible. And I honestly thought that they did not do enough. I did not have the aggressive nature, because I felt like the things that worked were those quick passes, like the quick passes that KJ could have, those quick things that they can make work here and there. Like, those were the things where I'm like, okay, that's what worked. Why not do that more? Why not, throw those quick passes more? Why not, maybe I know the line didn't do the best job at times, but there were still opportunities to where trying something downfield. But the running just wasn't there. And the only running back really that had any sort of success was A.J. Green. He averaged 7.3 yards a carry. He had 6 attempts. Like Rashad Dubinion, 14 carries, 26 yards. And I'm telling you right now, if he did not get tripped up on that last play, I think it was that second down play before Arkansas ended up having to putt at the end. If he doesn't trip, he may have been still running. That sucks. Like, that play, I look back, I was like, dude, I think he tripped on his own feet. And if he maintains his balance, he at minimum gets a first down. And at maximum, I don't know if he would have scored a touchdown, but they would have been in a lot better situation. And so I just don't understand why they don't do the things that work the best. Why you don't do the things that KJ is obviously most comfortable with. And shout out to KJ Jefferson, man. The dude just is a gamer still. I mean, he didn't have the best game, 14 to 24, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. But like that play when he he was spinning the Alabama player, and I think his last name was Arnold, and he just shook him off of him and threw it. Like, that's quintessential KJ. And that's why, I guess over here, rub the shirt, and you get that out of the microphone right here. The KJ Jefferson shirt. That's why. It's a QB1, man. He's a monster. He's a beast. But, he can only do so much. You had 36 attempts for 100 yards in this game, which is an average of 2.8 yards a carry. So think about that. A.J. Green had 6 carries for 7.3 yards a carry, and they average as a team 2.8. It shows you what the rest of the team did. Nothing. But the offense is the problem. And another thing, too, I know the defense had a couple of breakdowns in plays. It sucks. 2 of those touchdowns that Alabama scored were to wide open wide receivers. There was some sort of confusion. I don't think it was anything that was just like a skill set. I think there was a confusion. I think it was when they were running that trips plays that Arkansas was struggling with of figuring out who was on who. And again, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, they still scored. But I was really happy with the defensive performance. And I was really happy with the adjustment that they made, because after those trip plays, those trip formations started throwing them off, they changed it. They adjusted it. And Travis Williams, to me, I mean, if there's a coach of the year on this staff, to me, I'm giving it to Travis Williams and really the whole defensive staff. They've done an awesome job. So shout out to them. But the offense is the problem. It continues to be the problem. Arkansas really didn't have that many penalties this time around, which was nice. Only 2 penalties. So I guess it's just like keep going up and down all around for those penalties. They didn't have really that many penalties. They did go 4-14 on third down, which was bad. And they gave up those 2 big plays. Arkansas had 5 sacks. I mean, Landon Jackson, how about that guy? Holy crap. That dude was incredible today. Landon Jackson, 11 tackles, 7 of them solo, 3.5 sacks. Have a game, Landon Jackson. Have a game. He was great. And another thing, too, is about this defense that Arkansas did not have Dwight McGlothern, their best secondary player out there. They didn't have Jalen Braxton because he was out. He's a true freshman, but he's been a dude that's made some plays. Didn't have him. Didn't have Chris Paul. Like, those are 3 big-time contributors to the defense, and they still played as well as they did. Still did it. Rocket Sanders didn't play. I don't know what's up with him. I mean, would he have been able to help out? It wouldn't hurt. But I don't know. And I like Rashad Dubinion, don't get me wrong, but I feel like sometimes when I'm watching Rashad Dubinion, he's kind of all over the place. He's kind of timid. He seems like he chooses the wrong hole to go through at times. But, I thought and I felt like the offensive line, they weren't great. But I felt like overall, pass protection wise, they were average. Run blocking wasn't great either. It just sucks, man. It just sucks. If it wasn't Alabama, I'd be a lot more angry. I would be. But since it was Alabama, it's like, oh man, like, you covered the spread. Which, by the way, I'm glad I went on Bet Saracen and got that 19.5. Easy money. Arkansas is great at covering the spread, so against Mississippi State, loaded up. But yeah, I'm at a loss at times. But this one was, it was the worst too, because as soon as Arkansas got that 2-point conversion, as soon as they did it and they were down 24-21, I'm like, I knew this was going to happen. I had gotten to the point to where I was like, I'm fine with losing the game. I can go on with my day. I won't even pay that much attention to it. And what do? They just, every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in every single time. Oh, I was like, oh, I just hated it. I was like, why did you guys have to do this to me? It's like, why? Why did you have to just pull me back in when I was so, like, I was in the mindset? I was like, all right, well, we're moving on. Mississippi State. And they're like, hold on, wait. We want to make you believe for a little bit. So, oh, man, just, it sucks. By the way, thank you all for you who are watching. So, sure to subscribe to Locked On Razorbacks podcast, of course. But yeah, that was my thoughts, man. No moral victories. You're 2-5, still some problems. I'm still not a fan of Dan Enos and what he's doing right now. Maybe if the offense, and again, I think somebody tweeted it out, and I think it was a good point. It would be, we won't know, but it would be interesting to see what Arkansas could do with Dan Enos' offense if you just had an offensive line that was good. Like, if this was a good offensive line, would it make a difference in play calling and all that? Absolutely. And I'm not saying I'm still a fan of Enos, because I'm not. I don't like what he's done. But it does make me just wonder what, if they had that, like what that would look like. What that would look like. So, all right, enough of me. Let's get to your comments. I know a lot of you are chiming in, and we'll try to get to them as much as possible. Cadence, what starts off with, is it possible for us to win a close game? Also proud of KJ today. Dude, man, that's the biggest problem, is just you losing these close games. Like, that's the issue. Just losing close games. I don't know. Like, does that make it better if you'd rather have that than getting blown out? I guess, but you're still losing. You're still losing. Like, Arkansas they've had their chances. They just can't do it. Just can't figure it out. And and here's the thing too, you don't want this to go to waste, where you have Mississippi State coming to town. You're finally at home. Like, I knew that this schedule was going to be this way, but this better never happen again, where Arkansas is away from home for 4 straight weeks. This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Like, think about it. The last time that you saw the Razorbacks in the state of Arkansas was the BYU game. Think about how long ago that was. This better not happen again, but you do not let this go to waste by coming in and letting Mississippi State come in, one of the worst teams in the SEC, which as of right now you are too. But do not let them come in and beat you. Make this matter. Make this be something. Ryder says, I tried not to get my hopes up all game long, and damn it, they got me again. I'm telling you, that's what it was. Charles says, how much better today would it feel like if we'd have won? I had it all planned out, man. If Arkansas had won, I was probably going to do this podcast without this live stream with no clothes on. I was going to be bare. You wouldn't see anything, don't worry. And I was just going to be like spraying like all sorts of beverages around here. Probably ruined my computer equipment. I was going to be blaring Born Hog Wild Hog Wild by Bo Cephas, just blaring it in the background. I was going to be having a party here on this live stream. I was fully expected to take another shower today because of it. Let's see. Go Hog says, the potential we have is sickening. I know. Sucks. Crazy. I don't even know what your name is. I'm sorry. Hogs made it a game and I decided to start watching, causing us to lose. My bad. Yeah, thanks a lot, bud. Don't ever let it happen again. Cape says they should win out, including the bowl game. No, I'm not going to say that. Like, until you prove to me that you can win a one possession game, I'm not going to believe it. You got this now. There is no excuse now the rest of the way. You are better than, I believe, still, even though you're 2-5. I believe talent-wise, team-wise, you're better than, I'd say, at least 4 of the 5 opponents left on your schedule. And all of them are at home except for one. That's at Florida. I think you're better than Mississippi State. I think you're better than Florida. I think you're better than Auburn, better than FIU. And Missouri's kind of the wild card because I think they're good, but I don't know. So, or maybe Missouri and Florida flip. Like, I think actually, let me put it this way. I think you have a better chance of beating Missouri at the end of the year than you do Florida on the road. But you should, none of these teams are just light years better than you. Michael says, if we offensively can get back on track, my God, we shut up Bama in the second half. Well, he didn't shut him out. He gave up 3, but I see your point. Kowak says, keep the defensive staff rearranged. Offensive staff, give Pittman another shot. The potential is there. Man, I'd at least like to see it. Because that's been my thing. In fact, a different Hog fan says this, defensive staff. Yeah, defensive staff, I believe you need to keep at all cost. I love this defensive staff. But the way the offense has gone, I think if it keeps going this way, which it's pretty much going to, I think you need to do some massive overhauls on the offense and the staff. Really mix it up. Which, give Pittman credit. He's done a good job of, fixing the defensive problem from last year, and it's the light years better this year. So do you give him another shot to fix the offensive problems coming up this offseason and going into next year? I mean, I wouldn't be against it. But they're still got a lot of season left. David says, if the guy on the cross sweep never gets off the snap, then why motion him that way? Yeah, I don't know. Like that. And then the thing when you were fourth and short, and then you called a timeout towards the end of the half, and you just punted. I was like, why not try to get the guys drawn off sides if you're just going to call a timeout? Or go for it because you have KJ frickin' Jefferson. Do something. Refs missing calls killed at least 2 to 3 drives. I mean, there were some, but there were also some that I feel like it was still I'm not blaming the refs here. I mean, it wasn't great, but I'm not blaming the refs here. Gordon says, Gums look good and Washington. Yeah, Washington looks great. I love Washington. I wish he would have gotten the ball. Not only that, he had a great block downfield. That guy just trounced some kid. It was great. That fourth quarter O-line was peak performance. I mean, they really look good. They look better. I don't know if that was more about them or more about Alabama mailed it in. I don't know. But they looked a lot better, that's for sure. Gordon says, I guess again, there we go. Alabama won't win a national championship. I mean, I'm never going to say never. They're going to win the SEC West, though. I still think that they beat LSU and Auburn. I mean, I know that those games can get kind of crazy. But, I mean, LSU can't stop anybody defensively. So I don't know why. I don't know. They're still my pick to win the SEC West at least. Let's see. DG says, doesn't matter how close a loss is a loss. Yeah, I agree. I'm not arguing with you. It's still a loss. Sucks. Freighter Soul says, at least the games are competitive. You give us a scare in Baton Rouge a few weeks ago. I was there. I guess you're an LSU fan, maybe. Yeah, but again, it's like competitive can only take you so far. I mean, it can only take you so far. David says, what would this O be with the past OC, great DC pickup? That people are asking. I'm not saying that if Kendall Briles was still the OC, the offense would for sure be better, but It wouldn't be worse. Let's see. Tommy says they cannot finish when they have a chance to win. That's the problem. SCT says Bobby Petrino coming back is making more and more sense. Stop. If Bobby Petrino ever came back, it would only be as an OC, not as a head coach. I'd accept him as an OC. He doesn't need to be a head coach. Goak says, do you think it's possible KJ and Rocket comes back? Their draft stock is in the tank this year. Man, that's the ultimate question. I mean, I don't know. I think Rocket would be more likely to come back than KJ because not only is Rocket, he's only been here for 3 years, but also the running back position isn't exactly valued like it once was in the NFL. So, yeah, I think now KJ still can come back. I would be shocked if he did, but I mean, I'd take him 100%. We all would 100%. Also, I know the stretch was brutal, but you can't lose 5 straight games and expect no coaching changes. I don't disagree. There's going to be changes this offseason, 100%. There's going to be changes. Sam is the head hog. I still believe in him. Well, at least I got you there. John Blair says, Hog fan stuck in living in Baton Rouge. Is KJ your favorite Hog ever? He's mine. No, he's not my favorite Hog ever. He's definitely like of the past. Man, I don't even know because I love Traylon Burks. KJ's up there, though. I mean, Matt Jones is always going to be my favorite Razorback because as a kid, I was growing up. I loved him. Darren McFadden, of course. Ryan Mallett, 1-5, because, I actually knew him. And, we were, again, I'm not going to call them friends, but we were guys that, acquaintances, if you will. But, yeah, KJ is definitely deserving of what a lot of great plays that he just doesn't give up. So, let's see. Dwight says, might win one SEC game. I mean, maybe. I feel like you should beat Mississippi State and Auburn at home. And I think you should beat Florida. I know it's tough to go down to Gainesville, but Florida's not good. And if you can find a way to beat Mississippi State, because I'll put it this way. Beating Mississippi State is everything. Because if you don't beat Mississippi State, that means you're, 2-6 going into the bye week with basically having to go undefeated to go to a bowl. That's when things can really go south. The Mississippi State game is everything. If this team wants to salvage anything from the season, you have to beat Mississippi State. If you do not, then there's a major issue happening. Cheesy says, I hope to see Sam Pittman brighten up in the post-game interview. Some positivity for the players and the fans could help us win out from here. Here's the deal. Positivity, whatever. I really hope fans show up to the Mississippi State game. I know it's 11 a.m. and I know it sucks right now, but again, this is going to sound so cliche. It doesn't matter. You've been losing. I get it. But this team is fighting, man. They're fighting. And, I think it's something to where if they're still fighting, they're still trying to fight to win. Fans need to be there too and helping them fight. They're putting in the effort. It'd be one thing if they were just getting blown out and embarrassed, because then I wouldn't want to go to the game either. But they're fighting. So I really hope fans end up coming out to the game and checking it out. Let's see. CB says, do you think KJ comes back next year? No, I wouldn't. If I was betting, man, I put it at a 85% chance that he's gone. Gordon says, is recruiting getting better for the next year? Recruiting's been great for the Razorback team, this year, next year. They've done a good job in the portal. But, the recruiting's really good. Very good. Gordon says, what depends on what time in Gainesville? Yeah, that's key. I don't know that. I don't think they would. Surely, I don't know. Maybe they put that game at noon Central or Eastern time. Maybe. But, yeah, I don't know. Jeff says, despite the losses, it's incredible to see the fight in this team. Yeah, again, it's not something that that anybody should look at the effort that this team is giving and say, this is why it's all good. This is why it's fine. This is why it's going to be okay, or why, Sam Pittman's the man or whatever. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I'm showing my appreciation for the fight, because we've seen give up. We've seen giving up. This ain't giving up. This ain't giving up at all. Any other coach, I firmly believe this, any other coach If Brett Bielema had lost 5 straight games in the fashion that they had, this team would roll over and die. You know why? Because they did. Chad Morris, I mean, they didn't even win 5 games total. So, but they just did not care. They gave up. They gave up on the coaching staff, and I'll blame them because I did too. It's almost like a mixture of Sam Pittman's getting the guys to fight. And it's a reminiscent, as much as it pains me to say, it's a reminiscent of a Houston Nutt thing where he gets his guys to fight and to play hard every single game. Something that Nutt couldn't do because Nutt would have the ups and downs. But every game he's gotten his guys to fight. But the problem is that you have an offensive line that is looking like a Chad Morris type offensive line with the Houston Nutt offense kind of being ran at times where I don't really know what they're trying to do. But luckily, you have a quarterback in KJ Jefferson, kind of like a la Matt Jones, that's able to improvise and keep you in the game. So it's it's a combo of everything. But yeah, this is still this is not give up. This is not terrible. It's not like the way that it needs to be. Goak says, if you do the overhaul on the offensive staff, really all we should get rid of is the OC and the O-line coaches. But as a what if Wednesday, what if we went out? Do we still fire people? Yes. Yes, even if you went out, because you can't get to that point to where you're just like, well, we're fine. We won out and we went. What would that put you at? 7-5, or is it going to be 6-6? Not 7-5. Yeah, 7-5. Math is hard sometimes. If you go 7-5, yes, you still fire people, or at least move on. After Arkansas went 9-4 that year, they got rid of some coaches. They got rid of the D-line coach. It'll happen. Joffre says, again, it hurts to hear the same say we're close, but we are. Those guys came to play and they want to win. I think really KJ showed his frustrations with the O-line and slamming the ball on the sack. Yeah, I get it. Marcus says, per remaining games, what are the chances of winning out? I mean, the chances, if you want to put a percentage on it, 10. It's just that just doesn't happen. It's the SEC. It's really tough. But if you look good against Mississippi State and you win in a way of looking good where you don't have a ton of penalties, don't have a ton of turnovers, your offense looks like something that can be put together as an offense, or at least looks kind of like an offense, then your chances go up exponentially. But it's a matter of how do you follow up these performances when you come home. It's homecoming. I know it's 11 a.m. I know it's Mississippi State. I know fans are ticked, but the fans need to show up 100%. I hate to be that guy because I'm normally not that guy. I don't want to be that guy that says, oh, fans need to show up no matter what. No, you don't. You don't have to show up. It's your money. You can do whatever you want. At any case, I'm not sitting here saying, oh, show up for the team and win one for the Gipper. I'm just telling you that this team and their effort deserves people to be there for them. They've been gone for over a month. It deserves Razorback fans, and they deserve the fans at least to be there for their efforts at minimum. You can be upset with Pittman. You can be upset with the coaches. You can be upset with the play calling. But it's the players that you need to be there for. And I think fans will show up for it. Jesus says, if we make a bowl game, I want to give Sam one more chance with a young and fresh offensive staff. A coaching switch will just hurt our recruiting. I agree with you there. If Sam Pittman makes a bowl game, I want to see one more year with Sam Pittman, as on the condition that he changes the offensive staff and hammers some offensive linemen in the portal. Hog fan says, say what you want about Sam Pittman, but his players play hard and fight for 4 quarters. Exactly. There's a culture thing there. They fight. And we can wrap this up because I wanted just to go for about half an hour. But Crazy says, could the O-line issues be to having smaller guys for the RPO and needing bigger guys for the Enos Pro style system? I don't know what the issue is specifically there. I think it's just a matter of you have guys that are unable to have a cohesive unit and figure things out and be consistent and going up against really good defensive fronts, or at least SEC caliber defensive fronts. I think it's a little bit of everything. But yeah, I just wanted to come on here real quick, folks, and talk about this. Appreciate all you watching and commenting. Be sure to subscribe to Locked On Razorbacks podcast, please. YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Hit the like, hit the little bell. Or if you go on Spotify, you go on Apple Podcasts, however you want to do it. But yeah, that's my deal. It's just be a part of it because the podcast is going to be fun. I don't know if I'll do a Razorback devotional tomorrow. We'll see how I feel because I'm like, I don't know. This kind of felt like a little bit of a Razorback devotional. I don't know what more things I could have to say, but I don't know. We'll see. I'll keep you all updated. But either way, this podcast is going to keep going on. But everybody, have a good rest of your Saturday. Don't let this game ruin it for you. The weather's nice outside. There's a lot of great games going on. You got all afternoon to party it up and to have a good time and to enjoy yourselves. So do that, right? Do that. Let's do that. Let's finish strong and not worry about Arkansas being 2-5 and losing 4 games by 1 possession. Okay. Have a great one, guys and ladies and everybody. See you tomorrow.